Hey, welcome back to the channel. So in this video, we're gonna talk about everything in the development diagram. So this video gonna be very good for beginners and also for veterans and also for experts because we gonna see every single unit that you can find in this game and check whether they are worth upgrading or not. So I have already made a video before about this, but now we have two new development diagram, which is the Gundam Char's Counterattack and now the Sith Destiny. So if you do want to look on those two, then you can skip to the end of this video. But if you do think that you have the time, then I'm gonna go through all of this diagram again, but only the summary. So if you do want to hear the detailed explanation, you can check the eye icon on the top right corner of this video. Go to the top right corner, and you can see an eye icon there. If you click on it, I'm gonna put a relevant video that you can watch. So I'm not gonna talk too much on the these units here that I've already mentioned on that video, and also I'm not gonna talk too much on the ultimate units because I have a special video for the ultimate units. So first of all, we're gonna start using this website first. This is a Sausage's website, so whether the owner likes sausages or not is still a mystery. So this one is contains a database of every single units and pilot in this game. So first of all, we're gonna go to the weapon effect in here, and here you can see the buff and the debuff that every single unit can have in the game. So the buff is not that worth it because it only affects yourself. So if it only affects yourself, you yourself as a unit need to be strong. But for the debuff, whether you are a level 1 unit or a level 100 unit, they gonna still have the same effect. It will give an advantage to you and all of your allies. So like this one, decrease beam weapon power by 20%, it will still do this. But if you go here, like the higher your remaining HP is, the greater weapon power it increases. Like you need high attack to make full use of this, maximum advantage out of this. But this one will always help your allies, so the debuff is so much more important. So that's why we're gonna take a look at all of this debuff, and the reason why the development diagram, like some units I mentioned them and not, is because they have this debuff most of the time. So we're gonna take a look. Like the level 6 debuff is only owned by UR units and also ultimate units, so I'm not gonna talk too much about them because in this video we're gonna focus more on the development diagram units. So this video gonna helps a lot for a beginner who haven't fully understand all of the units, and you are given a lot of development diagram and units to choose from, and you might question yourself, oh my god, which one should I upgrade first? Now that's the biggest question that we're gonna answer in here. So I've already open up all of this link in here. So we're gonna go with the beam weapon power down level 4 first. This is a new debuff, and it can only go up to level 4. So these are the units that have them. Okay, so just take a look at their the units icon, and so if you see them in the development diagram, then you know why they are good. Now this icon in here means that this is other units, it comes from an event, and this icon here means that it is a gacha unit. Okay, so you can also find this icon in game. So this one is the one that you can find in the development diagram. This is from a new diagram, the Gundam Char's Counterattack. So there is the Alpha Azuri in there, and then there's decreased accuracy level 5. So look at this, the UR units have a level 6 version, but the level 5 is owned by this unit. So among these, the development diagram 1 is the Providence Gundam. Now going into the decreased attack level 5, this one is owned by these UR units, and also the Psycho Gundam MK3. This is the ultimate unit. Now The other units is Falwalo, and then the development units is TO, Psycho Gundam, Zaku 3, and then the X Divider, and then the GN arms type, and then the Grace Ain, and then the Psychoro Gundam, and that's it. Now going into the decreased defense, now this is the most important debuff because it affects everyone. It reduces the enemy's defense. So whether you attack using beam or physical or a special weapon, it gonna get the advantage from this debuff. So the UR units is there, the ultimate units is this, and then there's a Red Gundam, the Zeta Gundam, the Cubely, and then the Freedom Meteor here, and then the Alfred Thor. So going into the mobility down, there's only one ultimate unit that can have a level 6 version of this, and for the development diagram unit we have the Queen Manta, and then the Alfred Earth. Now going into the increased beam damage, now this is the second most important after the defense down because more than half of the units in this game deal beam damage. Okay, so this one is really important, and there is no ultimate units that have this debuff at level 6 yet. So if in the future there comes out an ultimate unit that can have beam damage taken up level 6, definitely upgrade that unit because that is very strong debuff. So that's why DO has been an MVP in my lineup for a long time. Now in here we have the G-Quack, we have the Wing Gundam, the Vertigo, the Perfect Strike, and that's it. Now going into the increased physical damage, this is situational because compared to the beam damage, not as many units have a physical damage. So the UR units is there, this is the ultimate unit. Now this is the development diagram unit, we have the Shadow Gundam and then the Gusion Rebate. Now in going to the special damage, most of the time the special damage dealer is from the UR units, but there are some units that also deal special weapon damage in the SSR development diagram, so we gonna take a look at them too. So this is a rare debuff. I mean, not many units have this weapon too, but if you do need this, New Gundam was the only UR units that can do this. Now we have the Beta Aziaru from the new development diagram. So this is a really great unit. Now we have in the development diagram is the Cubely Double Z, and then we have the Destroy Gundam. This is a new one. So previously we only have very few options. Now we have from the new development diagram 2 more new units. So this is great. Now going into the physical weapon power down, this is only owned by the Destiny Gundam. So this is a really great defender, but there are not many units that deal physical weapon damage. Okay, again. Now we have the special weapon power down. This one, it is more useful than the physical weapon power because usually most of the time the unit that deals special weapon power is of the UR units. So we have the Alpha Zero and then the High New Gundam. So those are all the debuff. We also want to take a look at the weapon ranking in here. So using the weapon ranking, you can see units that can deal the highest damage in the game right now. So in using this table, you can sort based on the damage dealt of this unit. So in this table, they are upgraded to level 100 with maximum weapon level and then a maximum limit break. Compared to if they are UR units, they're gonna be put at 0 limit break. Okay, so to give a fair comparison, because UR units of course will always gonna be stronger than the SSR units. Okay, only if they have duplicate like any limit break. Okay, as the rules of every single gacha games out there, like the legendary unit, if they are non-limit break, like if you don't have any duplicate of legendary unit, it is much better to go down one level if you have the maximum limit break of that unit. So SSR maximum limit break is always gonna be stronger than 0 limit break UR units. That is the rule for every single gacha games. So that's why they compare it here like that. So if without any weapon effect or conditional passive or even critical, like these are all the units that deal high damage, like the top ones you can see here. Gundam Barbatus, Geminas, and hence Double Z Gundam, Freedom Gundam, Gundam Geminas, Ultron Gundam, Destiny Impulse, Double Z Gundam, Gundam Astray Goldframe, Amatsu, Justice Gundam, Nightingale, GP01, Signing Gundam, Agrisa, G3 Gundam, Gundam F90, Gen Gundam, Regenerate Gundam, blah 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 blah. So Gundam Area, Gundam Deadside, Hell Hilo for full armor, Double Z Gundam, Gay Mark, FS Double Z Gundam, Gundam Extra Master Gundam, Super Calamity, blah 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 blah. New Gundam, S Gundam, Alpha Gundam. So if we put the weapon effect, so I do want to show you this. So if you see some of these names, when we go to the development diagram, you're gonna notice, oh, okay, so this guy was in the top rank of the weapon damage right now. So hence why it is worth upgrading or not, we're gonna go into the details. So sometimes even if they are put in here, like if they deal high damage, but the conditional is really hard to achieve. Like for example, we turn on the conditional passive and weapon effect, but sometimes like the requirement is the lower your HP is, the higher you deal damage. But it is hard because that means that you need to get hit by your enemy and survive that damage. Okay. So it is hard to achieve that, but sometimes it is also easy to do, like the higher your HP is, or the further away from your enemy, or the closer you are from the enemy, it is easy to do that. Okay, so just take a look at the names in here. If you see some units, like remember Red Warrior S Gundam Destiny Plus. So if we go through the development diagrams, we will know that, oh, okay, this one was in the ranking, blah blah blah. Okay. Look at these units. Okay, you can also go to this website by yourself and check it out yourself. Now the critical, I separate this because the critical not always happening. It has a chance. Okay, so when it happens, it's good. But if you are unlucky and fail to do critical damage over and over again, then it's useless. But if we trigger the critical damage, then units that have a weapon effect of increased critical damage will always gonna deal higher damage, because that is the best way to deal damage in every single RPG games out there. Critical damage is always gonna be great. So if we deal critical damage, these are all the units that have really good critical damage. Look at this. Now the name, if you see some of the names, it is, you can already see now some of the units have been there quite a while, like in the top ranking in here, their name mentioned a lot of times. So yeah, you will already guess like what are all the good units. So now we're gonna go into the actual game. Now in here, I'm gonna go through all this diagram in order from the story. So because sometimes the units in there are worth upgrading because you're gonna need them for the next storyline, okay? And then end up with the CCA and also the Seed Destiny. So we're gonna start with the Mobile Suit Gundam. In this diagram, the only Gundam that is worth mentioning is the G3 Gundam. There are not many physical damage dealer, and this is your best SSR unit for range damage dealer, the G3 Gundam. So this has a 4-range hyper bazooka attack with power 4200. So if you want to know whether a unit deals high damage or not, if it is higher than 4200, then it deals good damage. So usually the highest an SSR can have is at 5000 power. So that is the highest any unit can have. So if it is close to that number, then it is great. Now the icon here, the attack with orange icon, means that it has a weapon effect. Okay, the farther you are the enemy, the greater weapon power increase, the closer you are or the higher your remaining HP, blah 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 blah. Now the green one doesn't have any effect. Okay, so the green one you can just skip, do not look at this attack, but only at the power, and that's it. But most of the time the orange one deal higher damage because this is a final damage increase. So the power will be calculated and multiplied and blah blah blah, reduced by enemy defense and blah blah, blah and everything, and then after that you're gonna get the final damage. Now in the final damage it will get further increased by this percentage. So the percentage looks small, but it actually increased the damage by a lot. Okay, so always aim for the orange attack if you do look for an attacker. So the G3 got a very good physical range damage dealer. There are not many physical damage dealer. Now the other good physical damage dealer is the Casval Gundam. This is the only attacker ultimate unit, and if it is at SSR, then the G3 Gundam still deal higher damage than the Casval Gundam, while at UR1 or 2 it will deal higher damage than the G3 Gundam. So if you do want to understand ultimate units further, again on the top right corner of this video on the screen, you can click the eye icon and then you can check the ultimate unit video there. So we're gonna go to the Zeon next. In this diagram, the only unit worth mentioning is the Big Zem, because the Big Zem is very important, especially for newer player, because this is an attacker that has insane map attack. Look at this, because this is a huge unit, so the map attack is also big. Okay, so this one deal AoE attack, so it gonna help you a lot in clearing story mode, PvE stages, etc, like easy stages, because you can just go into the middle of enemy units and just kablam, everyone die. Okay, especially if you maximum limit break this unit and just level him up to the max, it gonna helps you a lot in clearing stages. And it also have the eye field ability, which reduce beam range weapons damage by 40%. So even though this is an attacker, it can survive quite well. Okay, because like I always say, more than half of the units in this game deal beam damage, and most of them deal beam range weapons. Okay, so Big Zem really good, really worth it if you upgrade this unit to help you clear content very fast. Now the Zeong and the Gian Eos is just a normal unit, like, because if you see the debuff just now, there is no mentioning of Zeong name, because Zeong only have a level 4 debuff. So the way you know that it can only go up to level 4 is because the debuff starts at 15%. So a level 5 debuff, if you upgrade this level to weapon level to level 5, that means that it can have the highest level debuff, which is gonna give you level 5 at 30%, and then level 4 at 25%, level 3 at 20%, level 2 at 15%, and level 1 at 10%. So if you want to go up to level 5 debuff, it must start at 20%. Okay, so this starts at 15%, so it only has a level 4 debuff. So quite okay. If you don't have any other choice, then you can just use this unit, because it can attack from 5 range away. So the further you are from the enemy, the better it is, because the less they can counterattack you and the less you can mess things up. Okay, because if you need to get closer to your enemy, you need to be in range of their counterattack, and then the enemy also have a chance to attack you, because the way the AI works is that they gonna attack the closest unit to them. So more range the better. Okay, so the Zeong is just a normal unit, then normal support unit. The Gian Eos is also just a normal defender unit, so just focus on the Big Zem. Okay, so the ultimate unit, I've already mentioned, just go to the ultimate unit video if you do want more detail on that one. Now, going into the Zeta Gundam here, the AU, or the one that is very much worth is the Zeta Gundam. This is the really good defense down debuffer. It has a 5 range attack at level 5 debuff. Look at this, it starts at 20%, so it's gonna go up to 30% if you level this up to level 5. Now, this is really good, because again, it has a lot of text. Okay, for units, I also the one that I mentioned, whether it's good or not, sometimes it also has a really like a lot of text. So text decide whether you can use them in certain stages, and also whether they get boosted by supporters mothership or not. Because when it can be boosted by supporters mothership, then it's worth a lot, like its stats gonna increase by a lot. And hence why when you are building a team, you need to go around the supporters mothership, try to find units with the same tag. Okay, so the more text they have, the more you can pair them up with different teams. So it's very worth upgrading units. And also the terrain capabilities, this is also very important, because you don't want to upgrade units and they can only be used at ground. and you cannot use them in space, and then when you go into a space mission, then you cannot use that units. Okay, so it's useless upgrading them if you cannot use them. Okay, now the Hyakusuki is a ranged physical damage dealer again, but compared to the G3 Gundam, the G3 Gundam is stronger than the Hyakusuki. But special mention on these two units, these can be used in both the Zeta Gundam story and also the Double Z Gundam story. So if you upgrade this unit, you can just save up a lot of materials because you can just reuse them in two story modes and also for the Expert Eternal road. Okay. So whether you want to upgrade Hyakusuki or not is up to you, but the Zeta Gundam is very much worth it. Okay, going to the Titans and Axis, this one is where you're gonna find your first strongest defender, the Psycho Gundam. This one, just like the Big Zam, it has the eye field, which is the best damage mitigation. Beam range weapon damage taken up reduced by 40%. This is huge, okay, because this is a final damage reduction. Like if the enemy attacks you with 100,000 damage, it's gonna reduce by 40%. It now only deals 60,000 damage to you. That's almost half the damage, but it is quite slow. It has a movement of 4, and the debuff is huge. Like it has an attack down level 5 debuff. So as a defender, this is perfect. You know, reducing the enemy attack means that you're gonna survive a lot longer, and it also has a map attack that reduce attack down again. Okay, so really good unit, and it also has a lot of tanks. You can use him in a lot of situation and a lot of supporters mothership. So really good defender unit. If you want to watch my video on my channel, you can see that I have a lot of winning using the Psycho Gundam. Now we also have another defender in here, which is DO. But compared to the Psycho Gundam, this is not as strong because it doesn't have the eye field, so it doesn't have the damage mitigation. So it only relies on its base stats, HP and defense, although it has a boost in its HP. So it has more HP than the Psycho Gundam, but it has less defense. But the advantage of the O is that it has 5 movement. So when you are thinking about defender, they can only support defense units that they can reach. Okay, so the Psycho Gundam can only cover allies 4 range away from him, while the DO can cover allies from 5 range away from him. Okay, so depending on the situation, you might want to use defender that can move a lot or not, but the problem is solved. You can just position your Psycho Gundam in the correct position. Okay, so this one is not as important as the Psycho Gundam, but if need to, then you have an option for this defender. But again, prioritize the Psycho Gundam. This one, even until now, I'm not using him. Okay, so the Qbeli is another defense down debuffer. This is a support unit, and it has a 5 range too, so this is really good. But because you already got the Zeta Gundam, so if you don't need him, like if you can still use your Zeta Gundam, then Zeta Gundam is much better because it has more techs. And this has very few techs, but in stages that you can bring Qbeli and not the Zeta Gundam, then this is your option for a level 1 defense down. Okay, so quite an okay unit. This one is the best, this one is so-so. Okay, going into the Zeta 3 Gundam in here, Zeta Gundam 3, this is a defense down debuffer because this is also an ultimate unit. It has a level 6 debuff. So if you upgrade this unit, you can see that it has an attack of 1, 1, 2, 4, and 3, 4. If you upgrade this is the only ultimate units that the attack changes. Look at this, 1, 1, 3, 4, and 2, 5. The attack changes. So the range now, it has a 5 range attack, and it also have a defense down at level 6. Look at this, it starts at 25%, so at level 5 it can go up to 35%. And the advantage of an ultimate units compared to UR units, like UR units can also have a level 6 debuff, but they gonna use a UR weapon upgrade materials. Look at this. If you go to here, like I'm gonna show you like the new Gundam, it has a debuff at level 6. Like this is the highest debuff. Look at this. It can go up to 35%, but it requires UR weapon upgrade materials. Like this is a very rare material. It is very limited. So if you actually just go and upgrade, like for example this one, you can just upgrade this weapon of the ultimate units, and it doesn't require the UR weapon upgrade material, and you can go up to level 6 debuff. That's the advantage of an ultimate unit. So the Zeta Gundam being a really good debuffer as an ultimate unit, so you can just take this and upgrade it as probably the first or the second ultimate units to you upgrade. And oh yeah, the Casval Gundam, aside from dealing very good physical damage, it is also being used in the Eternal Road Expert #1. Like, it's the best unit to clear the stages, whether for every single mission or to just clear the stages. For every single mission, you can just use the Casval Gundam. Really good. Okay, so going into the Double Z Gundam, the units that is worth mentioning in this diagram is these three. Okay, we have the SSR Full Armor Double Z Gundam. This is probably gonna be your first special weapons damage dealer. Look at this. It has a 4,500 power, a range 4, and special weapon damage. So this one have a weapon effect of critical damage. So if you do want to use this unit, you need a pilot that can have a critical rate. Otherwise, you have a low chance of dealing critical. Look at this. It can only have a 10% chance to deal critical damage. So it is very low. So you do want a pilot that can increase that chance. Okay. So it is situational. Hence why we have these two. So if you notice in the weapon ranking just now, these two units are mentioned a lot. Double Z Gundam and then the enhanced Double Z Gundam. Why? Because even though this is an SR unit, it has a weapon power of 5,000 and two of them. Okay, look at this. This weapon power worth more than the attack stats, because this is an SR unit. Okay, its limitation is that you can only upgrade them to level 80, but if you SP convert them, you can actually upgrade them to level 100. So with a weapon power at 5,000 and a stats comparable to an SSR or UR units at level 100, means that it deals very high damage, and that's why the weapon ranking it is mentioned a lot. So this one, the difference between Double Z Gundam and the enhanced Double Z Gundam is that the Double Z Gundam have a really good range weapon, while the enhanced Double Z Gundam have a really good melee weapon. So look at this. Even though it has power 5,000 on 2 attack, the orange one have a good weapon effect in here. You can just use it at the very beginning of the battle, but the other one requires tension max or greater. So be careful when you see a high attack, like a really good attack in here, because if it requires tension max or greater, you need to use a pilot that can have an MP up ability, or you need to kill a couple of enemies first before you can use this weapon. So because this is a melee attack, so most of the time you're gonna use this attack, so it doesn't matter. Okay, so this is really good. But when we go to the enhanced Gundam, enhanced Double Z Gundam, it is the opposite. Look at this. It has the orange one at melee, while the tension max or greater at the range. Look at this, 5,000 tension max or greater. But the advantage of the enhanced Double Z Gundam is that it has two weapon type, range and awaken, and then going into here is the melee and awaken. So what it means, so the weapon type decides the stats that you use from your pilot. So if your pilot have high melee stats, then the attack that uses melee weapon type gonna get a lot of advantage from that pilot. If you have a low melee stats, that means that this attack gonna deal low damage. But if it has two weapon types, then the unit gonna see the pilot stats and gonna take the highest one among these two. And the best part about this is that a lot of UR pilots, especially the new type pilots, have really high awakened stats. So there are not many units that can use awakened stats. So this is one of those rare units that can use the awakened stats and make best use of UR pilot. Okay, so this is the advantage of the enhanced Double Z Gundam. But if you don't have MP up ability, then you cannot use this range attack from the beginning of the battle, and you need to get close and personal to your enemy to be able to use this attack. Okay, so advantage and disadvantage. Okay, and also this one, the Double Z Gundam, if you take a look at its attack here, look at this. This is beam, but this one is special. Okay, so again, depending on the debuff that you bring to your enemy, like if you do use double Z Gundam and use both attack, then you need beam damage taken up debuff and also special weapon damage taken up debuff. So yeah, pros and cons. But these two are the best SR units you can upgrade and have in the game. Okay, so going to Neo Zeon. Here in this diagram, we have this unit, but they are not, I mean, like they are above average. So the game, this one deals an okay damage. You can look at this. It has a weapon power of 4,500, range 2 to 4, but the requirement is hard. The lower your remaining HP is, the greater weapon power increases. So it's hard to do that, to fulfill that criteria. So this is not as good as as other attacker, but there are certain stages or pilot that can only pilot this unit. I mean, like it is a rare Neo Zeon unit attacker. So if you have a Neo Zeon pilot, then this is the unit for them. Okay, so quite rare to use, but there are certain niche application of this unit. Now we have the Cubely Double Z in here. This is, if you remember in the website, like one of the few units that can have a special weapon damage taken up debuff at level 6, but it is on its second attack, so the range is very short. It only has 3 range attack, but it is a really rare special weapons damage taken up debuff at level 5. Also, it uses awakened stats and a special weapon damage. So yeah, if you do need a special weapon damage taken up debuff, then this is your first encounter to the first unit that can do that. And it also has a nice power at 4,500, but because this is a support unit, so it still has lower attack than an actual attacker unit. So yeah, this is the Cubely Double Z, very much worth it to upgrade. And then we have the Queen Manta. This is like the alternative version of the Psycho Gundam. So it also has the eye field ability, and also the tech is quite similar to the Psycho Gundam, but it has fewer than the Psycho Gundam. I mean, it is of a Psychomu unit too, but if you do have to choose between the Psycho Gundam and the Queen Manta, then the Psycho Gundam is much better than the Queen Manta. And also the debuff, the Psycho Gundam have an attack down debuff, while the Queen Manta have mobility down level 5 debuff. So the attack down is worth more than the mobility down, because mobility affects the enemy accuracy and evasion, both of which has chance. So even if you reduce enemy's mobility down, it still has a chance to keep attacking you. It won't miss. Okay, so it is very situational. So attack down always work better than mobility down. Okay, so this is Queen Manta, but still it is a nice unit to have. So and then we have the Zaku 3 custom in here. This one is not worth upgrading at all. So yeah, among these units, the Gaymal situational, the Cubely Double Z, very good special weapon damage taken up debuffer, and the Queen Manta is an okay alternative to Psycho Gundam. So if you have to choose, just focus on the Cubely Double Z first. Okay, now going to the ultimate units, this is the Psycho Gundam MK3. So compared to the Psycho Gundam, this one, even though it is another defender unit, but it loses the ability of the eye field, which is the best ability for a defender to have. Like, oh yeah, I forgot to mention that the eye field doesn't work against an EX skill. Okay, so if you fight against a UR enemy in PvP, like we're not gonna meet a UR units in PvE stages, hence why the Psycho Gundam is still worth upgrading. Like, it is very strong, because in PvE stages, all of the beam damage from the enemy will get reduced because they don't use EX skill. Like most of the time, okay? Most of the time they don't use EX skill. I don't know if in the future there are gonna be an EX skill PvE enemies, but your eye field will most of the time gonna work in the PvE stages. But in PvP, they are not gonna work against an EX skill from UR unit. So even though it doesn't work, still, like the eye field is very good skill to have, and Psycho Gundam MK3 actually loses that ability. So even though this is a defender, it relies on its massive stats, okay? In return of not having an ability of damage mitigation, it has a massive HP and defense stats, okay? So that's the only advantage of the Psycho Gundam MK3. And also, even though it has a level 6 attack down debuff, but it is only at 1 or 2 range, okay? Power 4500, not bad, but this is a defender. It has low attack, so it doesn't matter. So it has a very low range, so you definitely won't be able to apply this to your enemy. And also because it is slow, it has only a movement of 4, so you need to get close and personal to your enemy first before you have uses, okay? So like the worst priority on the ultimate unit upgrade, again, you can just go to the I button icon on the top right corner of this screen and find the ultimate unit video if you do want to go further on that. Now going to the G Gundam in here, the one, oh yeah, I forgot to mention in the Zeta Gundam in here, talking about the defender, I want to take a special mention on this unit. This is a prototype Qbli. So for a defender, you know, you want to support defense and block an attack coming to your attacker, but in a PvE stage, the enemy deal massive damage. So even if you upgrade your defender unit to maximum, there is still a chance that you're gonna die in one hit. Okay, so if you die in one hit after fully upgrading your defender unit, that means that whether you have a level 1 unit or a level 100 unit, it's still gonna be the same. They're gonna die in one hit. So if you need a scapegoat, if you need a punching bag, if you need a sacrifice, you don't need to upgrade an SSR unit, you don't need to build an SSR unit, you can just use prototype Qbli. This is an SR unit, and it has a movement of 5 again, because as a defender, you can only cover allies that are within your reach of movement, so it is really good to have a movement 5 for a defender unit, and it will still do the same job as an SSR unit that dies in one hit. Okay, just use this as a punching bag or a sacrifice, and just take one hit from your attacker, and that's it. Okay, so special mention on the prototype Qbli. But after season 1 PvP in Master League, I actually found out that if fully upgraded, SP converted, the prototype Qbli have insane stats. Okay, so but it is still not worth it to fully SP convert prototype Qbli. Okay, so that is a special mention on the prototype Qbli as a defender unit. Now, going into the G Gundam in here, we finally have a lot of units, okay? So, a special mention on this unit. This is an R unit. I think it's this one. I forgot. Like, look at this. Yeah, there is some R units that have a 4,500 power attack. So yeah, the Shuffle Heart. I think it is the Shuffle Heart and the Shuffle Joker. Yeah, these two units is an R unit, but it has a 4,500 power attack damage. So, but still, even though it has high power, but it is a green attack, so it doesn't have any weapon effect. So it's still gonna deal lower damage compared to units that have an orange weapon skill that has a weapon effect in them. Okay, now going into this unit, look at this. All of these G Gundam units, they have, if you have watched their video, they can become Super Saiyan and become golden color. And in here, they are able to use a special attack that has a power 5,000. Look at this. So this one can also deal high damage, but this is a green attack, and also it can only be used at tension max or greater. So even though this is an SR unit that has 5,000 power, just like the Double Z Gundam, but it is far worse than the Double Z Gundam, because aside from you cannot use the skill at the very beginning of the battle, it also doesn't have any weapon effect. Okay, the one that actually have a weapon effect is at power 4,500, and the closer you are to the enemy, the weapon power increase. Okay, this is just a standard attack, but 4,500 power, it is okay. I mean, it is quite high, but not 5,000 high. Okay, So this is still okay. Like if you are a fan of a shining Gundam, then yeah, if fully upgraded, it can still deal serious damage. But whether it's worth it or not, it goes back to you. Okay. Now, for other units like this one, look at this. There's a power 5000 attack. So all of these units have an attack that if they change into a golden color, they have a 5000 power attack. Okay, from the story of the G Gundam. So yeah, all of these SR units, look at this power 5000. So yeah, but still, like, it is not really good to just focus on them. I mean, like, if you go into the story mode in here in the stages, the Eternal Road, to clear the hard stages of the G Gundam, I think there is, where is it? No, there is no G Gundam stories. Yeah, that's why you don't need to upgrade your G Gundam a lot, because there is no hard difficulty stages in Eternal Road that requires you to only bring the G Gundams. So yeah, it's better to just use these SSR units and just clear the normal stages with the minimum effort, and just, you know, just go on with the other stages. Okay, so now we have the Shadow Gundam. This is a really good physical damage taken up debuffer. So yeah, there are not many units that can have a level 5 physical damage taken up debuff, and also there are not many units that deals physical damage. So if you do use physical damage, then this is your unit to be able to increase their damage further. Level 5 debuff at range 4. Okay, really good unit. Support unit. Now going into the Master Gundam in here, this one is a really good attacker from the G Gundam. So it has a darkness finger, but it is a melee attacker. It has a power of 4500, but the attack is special. Okay, so be careful. So if you use the Shadow Gundam to further boost the attack of the Master Gundam, it doesn't affect this attack. Okay, but it has a really good critical damage. Look at this, critical damage starts at 20%, which is high. With a power of 4500, this can deal insane damage. Okay, but if you do use the Shadow Gundam to boost the damage of the Master Gundam further, it only affects this, the melee one. It doesn't affect this. This is beam. Okay, so not really a pair that comes from the G Gundam, you know, but it also has a map attack. This is a nice map attack, like in the Expert Eternal Road, number 5, I think. Like, you're gonna need this attack to clear up a lot of enemies. Okay, so I'm gonna mention units that you're gonna need very much in the the Expert Eternal Road. So that is why you do want to upgrade them. So yeah, the G Gundam, the Shadow Gundam, and then the Master Gundam, you're gonna need them to clear Expert Eternal Road number 2 and then number 5. Okay, so that's why you do want to grind them slowly and upgrade them. Okay, so for the UC series, the Expert Eternal Road number 1, I've already mentioned you only need the Casval Gundam, and then the Red Gundam, but that one is from the other units, not from the development units. So yeah, I didn't mention any of these units being okay. I mean, they are okay to just clear the stages in Expert Eternal Road, but if you do want a minimum upgrade, the one that can clear every single mission, because right now if you go to the mission in here, there are certain missions that you need to do from your Expert Eternal Road, like development units only, or 10 surviving units, and then special units tags, and blah 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 subtags. So if you upgrade the Casval Gundam, you can actually clear development units only, 10 surviving units, and the Zeon tag. So that's how good the Casval Gundam is. Now from the Z Gundam, the double Z Gundam, they are all optional for you to clear the Expert Eternal Road, you know. And you just can upgrade them further. Like, you don't need them to be at high level, because all those earlier stages, they have a lower combat power. Okay, the here, so you can just clear them with just enough units I'm gonna do a special mention on the G Gundam Forward, because from here you need to, seriously upgrade them if you do want to go through the Expert Eternal road, especially the hard stage and the Expert Eternal road stage. Now, the G Gundam, I have already mentioned all of those things. Nothing else really worth mentioning. Like even the Dark Gundam is actually useless. You can just have him and just put a defender pilot on him, and as long as you can take hit for your allies, then it is okay. Okay, just clear the stage using the help of a maximum Master Gundam and a maximum Shadow Gundam, and it should be enough. Okay, you just bring the other unit at any level as you want, and you can still clear the stages. So, going into the Wing Gundam, we have here a special mention on all of these units. Actually, they are really good, except the Tolgis 3 actually. So the Epion, really good a beam melee attacker. So a really strong beam attack, also true to the lore, like it has a really strong beam saber. So as a melee beam attacker, it has a power of 4,500 and a range of 3, actually quite far for a melee. Like usually they have 1 or 2 range. So have a really strong beam saber. The closer you are to the enemy, the greater weapon power increases. So this one has a strong melee attack, and also the ability is also really nice at increasing attack and critical damage by 10%. So yeah, and it can also be used on 3 terrains. So all of the units previously I mentioned, they mostly can only be used on space or ground. There are not many that can use atmospheric, and also it can change into a shield. Although you're gonna rarely ever use that, but if you can change into a ship, usually units that cannot fight on atmospheric can be used there. Again, you don't want to upgrade units, and you cannot use them in stages that they don't have terrain capabilities. Okay, so the Epion, really good melee beam damage dealer. Now the Tolgis is a defender, but the problem is that it doesn't have a good debuff. Okay, the debuff only have attack down 15%. This can only go up to level 4 debuff. So, as a defender, just being a punching bag, take hit from your allies, and that's it. Your job is done. I do not recommend to fully invest on this unit, but a lot of the units from the Wing Gundam can be used on atmospheric, which is great. The Athlete Gundam cannot. But the Wing Gundam, the Epion, the Tolgis can be used on atmospheric, which is great. And we come to the best beam damage taken debuffer, the Wing Gundam Zero, especially if you have the Quattro as the SSR pilot. Really great. Look at this. It has a 5 range attack of beam damage taken up debuff. So from all of the units we've come previously, all this time, it only cover up the defense down most of the time, and then comes to the G Gundam, we started seeing the physical weapons damage taken up. This is the beam weapons, 5 rates, really great, and it has a map attack. Okay, so map attack is really good. It is a debuffer, it is a support unit, so you're not gonna deal high damage on the map attack, but map attack is unblockable, unavoidable, and uncounterable. So you're gonna be safe if you use the map attack without the fear of getting countered by your enemy and die. Okay, so this is really great, and especially if you upgrade this unit to level 90, then it can deal quite a damage. It helps a little bit, but yeah, that's just a bonus. Like his purpose is to just put debuff on its enemy. Okay, beam weapon damage taken up, really great. Now we're going to the, I would consider that this is the best melee attacker, just because look at this. This is an attacker. It is a melee attacker, but it has a range of 224. This is the furthest melee attacker in the game. It is melee at 4 range. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, like a melee attack from 4 range away. It has the same range as a bazooka. So, and it deals physical. It is the longest physical melee attacker in the game. and it also has a weapon effect of critical damage by 10%. So it's really worth upgrading this Ultron Gundam because there are no other units that is like him. You know, a melee attacker deal short range, a range attacker deal long range. This one is a melee attacker that deal long range. Okay, so insanely good. Now going to the that side hell. Now this one deal nice melee damage. Okay, but there's nothing special to this unit. Like it has a power 4500 melee beam, range 1 to 2. The closer you are to the enemy, the weapon power increases. So compared to the Epion deal higher damage than the Gundam that side hell. Okay. But when you are clearing the stages on the Eternal route, look at this, the hard stages, you need the wing series. So in the hard stages, here one, you require combat power 175,000 recommended. So you're gonna need all of these units to be able to clear them. But from my experience, you can just upgrade the Epion, upgrade the Ultron, upgrade the Wing Gundam, and the Dead Side Hell, and that's it. You can just clear the stage. Okay, so not gonna have that much problem, but you do need almost all of them to be able to clear the hard stage. Like it is a hard stage. Okay, so you're gonna have some problem. So for the Zeta Gundam, Double Z Gundam, even though they are of hard stage, you don't need to fully invest on your unit. You can just have them at level 60 and you can just clear the stage. Although I can clear the Wing Gundam stages, I think I also use a level 60 on them. I only have level 90 on the Wing Gundam and the Ultron Gundam back then, I think, and I cleared the stage, so it is still okay. Now, special mention on the SR units that is worth upgrading is this one, Gundam Heavy Arms Custom. So this is a defender unit with a mobility 5, just like the prototype Qbeli, a really good sacrificial unit. But aside from being a sacrificial unit, it has an attack of power 4500, range 1 to 4, and reduce the enemy's attack down. So a much better prototype Qbeli, and if you clear the Wing Gundam stages, there is a chance for you to capture this unit, just like the prototype Qbeli. So a really good unit to be used as a punching bag, or a scapegoat, or a sacrificial lamb. Yeah, but if fully upgraded, like this can be quite annoying. Like it has a 4500 attack too. Okay, so quite an okay unit as an SR unit, so a special mention to that. And aside from those two, there is also this unit. Look at this. This is the Mercury. This is the defender unit, and it has a very unique ability. It has the Planet Defensor, which reduce attacks physical of beam range weapons, reduce damage taken by 20%. So there are no one else who has this ability. I mean, there are only two, the Mercurius and this guy, I think, the Viet. Oh no, there are another unit that has that Planet Defensor, but I forgot. I think it's one of the Zaku. But it is an R unit, so it's not worth upgrading. So this is the SR unit that has quite a better attack. So for a Planet Defensor ability unit, this one is an okay unit as a defender. Okay, and it has a beam gun, reduce mobility. So again, not an attack down. So I just want to mention this unit because of the unique ability that it has. Okay, so. But I don't recommend upgrading that guy. Now going into the ultimate unit, the Aquarius is not as good as the previous unit that we have. Casval, Zeta Gundam, really great, both of them. The Psycho Gundam MK3, the worst. Now this one is also the worst actually, because even though it has the highest physical damage taken up debuff, it has only range 3. So it's gonna be hard for you to apply this debuff to your enemy. You need to get close and personal, and because it has another attack at range 3 to 5 and a higher power at that, most of the time the AI, if left on auto, gonna use this one. Okay, so it's not worth upgrading this guy because you will never ever see him using his best debuff ability. So yeah, that's the only reason I don't recommend that ultimate unit. Now going into the X Gundam, again, because the stages that you require to clear using this X Gundam. Look at this, we're gonna go to the Eternal Road. So you're gonna need to upgrade some of the unit to clear, what is it, this stage. Okay, it is a normal stage, but because it is higher CP than the other stages before it, so you at least need to upgrade some unit in here. But because there are not many options in this, like the SSR unit is only the X Divider, and then the Patulia, and then the Vertigo, so we gonna take special mention on this guy here, the Gundam Virsago. So this is an SR unit, but it has a nice attack. It only has range of 4, so be careful when using this. You don't have any optional space in the middle. Like you cannot attack enemies closer to you, but it has a power of 4500 and critical damage by 10%. So if you do want to use an attacker, a damage dealer, then Gundam Versago is quite okay. Aside from him, because you can easily maximum limit break this guy and just upgrade to level 80 to help you clear up the Eternal Road stage. But a better attacker is the Patulia, but it's hard to upgrade this unit because you don't have many hard stages for you to grind the material to upgrade this unit compared to the all previous stages that we have now. So if you haven't upgraded this unit yet, then the Virsago is a better option for you. But this one is okay, range 3 to 5, power 3500. Look at this, very small compared to the Virsago, hence why I do want to mention the Virsago as your optional attacker in clearing the stages of the X Gundam. The further you are from the enemy, the greater weapon power increased. So yeah, this is an SSR unit that is worse than the SR units of the same series. Okay, so the Patulia and the Virsago gonna be your only attacker in here. But if you do want to upgrade something else, like if you are not patient enough to wait until you maximum upgrade the Patulia, then you can also use the X Gundam, the Gundam X. I mean, like the X Divider becomes a defender instead. So this one doesn't deal that high damage. So if you do want to have an attacker again, the Gundam X is gonna be your option here. You look at this, you have a satellite cannon, range 4, power 4500, but it can only be used at tension max or greater. So yeah, be careful. But you don't have that many options for an attacker in this series. So hence why you're gonna need to make use of some of the SR units to just clear the stage. But if you are patient enough, then you just gotta have to wait until you have a maximum limit break of the Divider, and then the Patulia, and then the Vertigo, and hopefully you can deal enough damage to pass the stage. Okay, but still you're gonna need the help of the Gundam Virsago. So the Gundam X Divider is quite okay. This is a normal defender, just like the Gian EOS. Like if you have no other choice to bring as your defender, then yeah, this is your final option. So but it has an attack down at level 5, but it has a range only at 1 or 2 range. So yeah, Psycho Gundam still is the best defender you can have because it can deal this debuff at range. But if you don't have any other choice, then yeah, it is your only defender in here. Lightning Fast, alternative series protagonist, so you can use him in a couple of Eternal stages. Now, the best one from this diagram is this guy here. This is the Vertigo. It can be used in space and atmospheric, but having a penalty in the ground. But his attack is really good. Look at this, 5 range, beam weapons damage taken up level 5. Just like the Wing Gundam, it uses Awaken instead of the range like the Wing Gundam and special damage. But the best part about this guy is that it has a one-shot killer tag, alternative series, Psychomo, and new type machine. So yeah, for those of you who has the supporters mothership for that, then this can be a really good option, okay, for you to get boosted using your ship. Because with the Wing Gundam is not of the Psychomo and the one-shot killer, I think. Yeah, so the tech is important. Look at this. Yeah, but it has a one-shot killer. Okay, so this is actually good. Yeah, this is why Wing Gundam is the best. Like, look at this, a lot of text. The more text you have, the better it is, because you can use them in a lot of places. Okay, so the Vertigo, I special mentioned that is only because it is of a Psychomute tech, which is my favorite. Okay, now we're going to the Gundam seat. Now from here we have a lot of units. Okay, here too. So we have the Perfect Strike Gundam in here. This one is really good too. Like, it has a defense down at 5 range. I mean, a beam weapons damage taken up at range 5 too, just like the Wing Gundam and the Vertigo. Really great. But it is of the Seed series. So if you have, like, you know, supporters mothership that can line up a Seed units team, then yeah, your choice for a beam weapons damage taken up debuffer is this guy in here. Now going here, we have the defense down, the Freedom Gundam Meteor. This is also a really good unit, because aside from having a 5 range attack of defense down level 5 debuff, it also has a map attack that reduces the enemy's defense down. But because this is a huge unit, its AoE is also massive. Okay, so you can inflict defense down to a lot of units in one turn, helping your allies to deal more damage to a lot of enemies at once. So really great unit. I do recommend not to just maximum limit break this unit, but try to make 2 of this guy. the more unit you have for this, like, the more you can deal AoE damage, because you're gonna need a lot of this in the Expert Eternal Road number 3, and it can also be used at number 4 to inflict defense down to a lot of enemies. And the defense down is, and then on the 3 also, I mean on the 2, the Expert Eternal Road number 2, his map attack is also insanely good, because the map attack cannot be avoided and cannot be support defense, like cannot be unblockable, unavoidable, and uncounterable. You can be safe, like the enemy cannot counterattack you, so you can just put a lower level debuff, but you are safe from the enemy's counterattack. That's the purpose of the Freedom Gundam Meteor. So really great unit. Now another great unit is this one, the Freedom Gundam. So we've already mentioned the Double Z Gundam and then the Enhanced Double Z Gundam. Now this one is the alternative series of the best SR unit that you can upgrade. Look at this. It has a 5000 power at range 3 to 4, full burst mode. The higher your remaining HP is, the greater weapon power increases. Really easy to max out, but the ability is not as good as the Double Z Gundam and then the Enhanced Double Z Gundam, because it leans more to the survivability. It is when the enemy attacks with weapons, weapons reduce damage taken by 10%. But the tech is the most important from the Freedom Gundam. Look at this. It is of alternative series. It's one-shot killer. It is protagonist. It is Seed series. So you can use this unit in Expert Eternal Road number 2, number 3, number 4, and then number... Wait, there's the Seed series, like 2, 3, 4. Yeah, you're gonna use him on 2, 3, 4. Let me go to the stage here. This one, 2 alternative series, 3 the Seed series, and then 4 the protagonist. Yes, you can use this guy for these 3 stages and actually deal very high damage, because it has a power of 5000, and also if you SP convert him, like, he is just as strong as an Double Z Gundam and Enhanced Double Z Gundam. Like, from the UC series you have a lot of options, but from the alternative series you don't have that many options for units to choose from. So hence why this becomes very important for you to upgrade if you do want to do that. Okay, now we have also the Dragoon Strike in here. Like, this comes from the newer Seed series stories. It is a really good attacker, you know, like, I mean, like, it's not as good as the Freedom Gundam if you decide to SP convert the Freedom Gundam. But if you do not want to SP convert the Freedom Gundam, this is your best choice for an attacker. Like range 4, power 4200, the farther you are from the enemy, the greater weapon power increase. So quite an okay unit to deal damage like that. And the terrain capabilities is also like, you know, you can use it in a lot of places. Look at that. Now, the Murasame flight capable, this one is not worth upgrading because it doesn't have a good debuff. Look at this. It has a damage taken up from beam weapons up 15%, so this is a level 4 debuff. So unless you don't have any other choice for units to bring, then you use him. But otherwise, it's better to just bring some other units, especially this one. Yeah, look at this. Like, they have the same debuff, but this one is level 5 and that guy is at level 4. So yeah, you know which one you should bring and which one you just bench. Okay, now going to the Zeph, this one. I think we've already mentioned all here. Oh, okay, I haven't mentioned this one. So another SR units that is really good, special mention to Forbidden Gundam. So the SR units that we've seen so far are of the attacker type because they have 5000 power attack, but this one is a special unit because it has a very unique ability. The Gus Medic Panzer, this one. This is very unique only for the Forbidden Gundam. When defending or executing support defense and when the enemy attacks with a beam range weapon, reduce damage taken by 30%. Not as high. Not as high as the Psycho Gundam, but it is still something. Like, considering this is an SR unit, being able to damage mitigate 30% of the enemy's attack, and beam range weapon is like a lot of enemies use beam range weapon. So if in any case in the future you have a stage where you can only bring an SR unit, then this is gonna be your best defender, okay? Because it is your replacement for a Psycho Gundam. Oh, it also has an attack down debuff, but it is only at level 3 debuff. You know, not that good. I mean, but his job is to just take damage from your attacker so that your attacker can survive. Okay, so another unit that you can use as a scapegoat or a sacrificial unit or a punching bag, you know, because it has also a movement of 5. So just like the prototype Kibuli, just like the heavy arms Gundam, this one is also very easy to build. Okay, and also the terrain capability, it can be used in many terrain capabilities. Actually, all the Seed Gundam units can be used in a lot of terrain capabilities. So really great. Going to the Zeph. Now in here, before the Seed Destiny came out, like, we have a mission to clear the Expert Eternal Road number 3 using only Zeph units, and there are not many Zeph units in here that you can use. So you are forced to upgrade an SR units, but that is a waste. So we are lucky that we are, I mean, like, patient enough to wait for the Seed Destiny story to come out. So now we have a lot more options to upgrade. So among these units, there are only 2 SSR units. Okay, both of them, I mean, are okay. Like, the Justice Meteor is really good for an AoE attacker DPS, damage dealer. Like, because it is a huge unit, the AoE is also huge. Okay, so when you are clearing the Expert Eternal Road number 3, this one is a really good choice. Okay, but the attack is so-so. It only has a 3500 power attack, so only the map attack is insanely good. And yeah, depending on situation, the Freedom Gundam Meteor is worth much more than the Justice Gundam Meteor. But if you can have more of them, you can deal more AoE damage. Okay, so you can also just try to build 2 Justice Meteor, which is what I do. Look at this. If you see my units in here, like, I have 2 Freedom Meteor. Look at this. I also have 2 Justice Meteor, and this guy, and this guy, because I need them to clear a lot of stages that requires a lot of map attack. Okay, they are really good in dealing damage from using map attack. Now going into the Providence Gundam, this is an okay defender, you know, not the best because the ability is not as good as the Psycho Gundam. Look at this. Reduce enemies attack with physical weapons by 20%, while the Psycho Gundam have 40% damage reduction. So not as good, but this is for a physical weapons damage. So yeah, Psycho Gundam is beam. So it is situational. If the enemy attack you with physical weapon, then obviously it is worth more than the eye field. But there are not many physical damage dealer out there. Now the debuff that he has is also accuracy down. Okay, so the best debuff that he has is the accuracy down. But again, it is chance based. So the enemy, even after reducing their accuracy, they can still hit you. So it's not a guarantee that you can make the enemy miss their attacks to you. So yeah, just a normal standard defender with a little bit extra damage mitigation. So an okay unit. Okay, if you don't have any other choice for the defender, then yeah, here. But with the coming of the Sith Destiny, we now have the perfect defender. So you can just drop this one. Okay, so just focus on the freedom, the Justice Meteor, and from here is the Freedom Meteor, and then the Freedom himself if you do want to SP convert, and then the Perfect Strike Gundam, and then the Dragoon Strike. Now in the ultimate unit, this is the Hyperion unit, the best ultimate unit for a defender. Okay, because it has a very unique ability, which is the Armor Lumiere, which when enemy attacks with ranged weapon, reduce damage taken by 20%. It's not as high as 40% of an eye field. Why? Because it doesn't matter whether the enemy attack with beam or physical or special weapon, every single ranged weapons damage will be reduced by this. That is the best part about this. And no, not the best part yet. The best part about this ability is that the EX skill that I mentioned that can go through a weapon attribute damage reduction, like they can ignore weapon attribute damage reduction, is reduced by this, because the EX skill only affects, like it only nullifies a weapon attribute damage reduction, which means that it only affects beam reduced, physical reduced, and special reduced. Look at this. I'm gonna show you. Like, look at this. I have the Zeta Gundam. I'm gonna go into the EX skill. It has a weapon attribute damage reduction null. So this is the sentence that makes it able to ignore enemies' damage mitigation. What it means by weapon attribute, we gotta go to here. So if you do need any help in the game terms, you can go to the menu, to the help, and then you can go to the unit, and then unit stats in here, read all the stats, what they affect, ability, movement, blah blah blah, and then unit types of blah blah blah. And here there's a weapon attributes, okay? And also the pilot is there, okay? If you do need a character, like character stats in here, you can go range, melee, awaken, defense, what is that means, you know? SP, reaction, what does it mean, what is for. Now going to the units, we have weapon attributes. So weapon attributes is, each weapon has at least one of three attributes: beam, physical, and special. EX weapons possess various attributes such as beam, physical, and special. Abilities that reduce damage from specific weapon attributes do not affect EX weapons. We have already seen the Zeta Gundam attack just now. Some weapons may have usage restrictions based on the conditions. You can check this in the weapon details, okay? So it is beam, physical, and special. That is considered a weapon attribute. But if you go to here, this Super Hyperion Gundam, it doesn't have the weapon attribute. So this one technically will block an EX attack. So this is why Super Hyperion Gundam is really strong in PvP, because against an EX skill, against a UR units, this is gonna be your strongest defender. Okay, if you don't care about, you know, your supporters mothership or the PvP tag, etc., you know, in general, this can reduce everyone's damage. So this is the strength of the Super Hyperion Gundam, okay? And it also is the only unit that can have a mobility down at level 6 debuff. Okay, so really great. Really worth it if you upgrade it to the max, because at the max, look at this, the armor Lumiere goes up to 30%. So this is a huge increase from 20% to 30%. Okay, so a really great unit. So yeah, if you don't have any other options, like we've already seen Casval, Zeta, Psycho Gundam, and then the Gundam Aquarius. So the ones that actually worth upgrading is Casval, Zeta 3, and then the Super Hyperion. Okay, now going next into the 00 Gundam. Now again, you're gonna need to clear stages using only this limited unit. Look at this. But luckily, it's only a normal stage. So you can just use all of these SR units, like they are not okay actually. Like you better off just wait until you can get these two. But this is one defender, one is a supporter, while you need an attacker. So yeah, the attacker is only this guy. But this guy is okay, I mean, because this guy is good. You know, Alphator is actually a good unit. Why? Because this has a large GN Fang. Why is this good? Because usually a unit that deals critical damage weapon effect usually have it on their melee attack. So this is one of the two rare units that have the critical damage attack on range. One is being the Ultron Gundam, the other one is this guy. So yeah, really good. And power is also 4,200. Oh, and if you consider a gacha unit, the best one to have a range critical damage attack is the S Gundam, the Superior Gundam, I think. The S stands for. It has a range of 5 with a really high power. I forgot the number. And critical damage by 20%, like insanely good. Hence why the S Gundam is the best SSR gacha unit in the game right now. So this one largely and Fang, and also a giant beam cannon. This one is a map attack, you know, quite an okay. Like I always say, map attack is unblockable, unavoidable, and uncounterable. So yeah, this is gonna be your best attacker. Now the other units is not worth mentioning, you know. And then going into the Celestial Being, you have this one as the defender, this one is the supporter. So yeah, you can only rely on them, while this one is your only defender and supporter. Like they are not worth mentioning at all. Like they sucks. Now, from this also, you just bring them to just clear the stage, but don't fully invest on any of these units, because none of these units are good, except the Gundam X here. The Gundam X here is a defender unit at movement 5 as an SR unit. So this is another scapegoat, another sacrificial lamb for you to use to throw away to block damage from your enemy to help your attacker survive. Okay, but not worth SP converting or anything. Just be a sacrificial unit. Okay, so nothing worth mentioning on the 00 Gundam. Now going to the Barbatos in here. In the Barbatos, we have all of the good SSR units from the Barbatos. Like look at this, the Gusion Rebek, and then the Barbatos, and then the Grace Aid are all good units. Okay, so whether you want to focus on any, actually you just focus on the Barbatos first, because this is your attacker. So the Gusion Rebek, this one has a physical damage taken up at level 5. So there are not many. So far we've only seen the Shadow Gundam, hence why there are not many physical weapons damage taken up debuffer. So this is another one, and you can bring this guy together with the Shadow Gundam in the Expert Eternal Road stage number 2. So yeah, you're definitely gonna need this unit. And then it has also a map attack of Snipe. Now the Barbatos is insanely good. Like it is a very strong melee attacker. It has 2 attack, both at 1 and 2 range, power 4000 and power 5000. Look at this, really high. I mean, like 5000 is the highest you can have from the SSR units in the development diagram. Now, the closer you are to the enemy, greater weapon power increases, but this is another special attack. So, again, just like the Master Gundam, not a perfect pair with the Gushin remake. The Gushin remake have the highest physical damage taken up debuff, while its attacker from the same series deal special weapon damage. So yeah, but you have an option, this one, a backup option, which is the melee physical one, but it's at power 4000, so not as strong as the other one, and the weapon effect is also harder. The lower your remaining HP is, the greater weapon power increases. So yeah, not the best pair, like Gundam Barbatos together with the Gushin remake, just like the Master Gundam and the Shadow Gundam. And they can also bring all of those 4 in the same stage, the Expert Eternal Road number 2. So yeah, quite okay. Hence why QBLE Double Z is a very rare unit that can increase special weapon damage taken up at level 5. Essentially, like if you do want to maximize the Master Gundam and the Barbatos damage, obviously you need to bring the QBLE Double Z or the Beta Azieru together with them. Okay. Now the Grace Ain here is a defender, is an okay one. It has a high debuff. Which one is this one? Yeah, the large egg. Attack down at level 5. So quite okay, but the range is problem, okay? Like the debuff is huge, but you cannot reach your enemy. You will never ever put this debuff on your enemy. But as a defender, again, your job is to take damage from your attacker, you know? Like in PvP, a defender will die before you can even move. So sometimes the attack doesn't matter, you know, only your ability, your passive damage mitigation is worth in PvP. But this one is rare. Like all of the good defender that we saw just now, most of them have 4 movement. This is a defender with 5 movement, you know. So there are not many defenders that have 5 movements, so that's why I special mention all of them. That's why all the sacrificial defender have 5 movement for a reason. Yeah. So this one, okay. The rest is not worth mentioning. Yeah, only the SSR are good. So all these 3 you can upgrade, you know. But the stage is also very easy to clear, I think. So you don't really need to upgrade a lot on that unit. Like you don't need to invest too much. Now going to the which from Mercury. Now we have these units. Now just like the Barbatos, all of the SSR units are the good ones. Okay. So here we have the Gundam Aerial rebuilt, very good attacker, like from the alternative series. Like it has a 2 to 4 attack as you shown, power 4200, and gunbeat rival range 3 to 5 at power 4500. So this unit is really good. Like this one only can be used at tension max or greater, but the farther you are from the enemy, greater weapon increase, and the execution on this one, it deals critical damage by 15%. So this is quite an okay unit, but because you don't have that many attacker from the alternative series, so your options gonna be a Freedom Gundam SR, and then this one, the Gundam Aerial rebuild, then the Master Gundam, then the Barbatos 6th form, and then the Epion, the Ultron Gundam, and then the Dead Side Hell, okay, from the alternative series. So there are not many options. There is also an Alphator, but among those units, the one that you can use in many situations, like they have a lot of techs, is the Freedom SR, the Gundam Aerial, then the Master Gundam. Yeah, those 3 are the ones that is worth upgrading. So among those 3, yeah, you just gotta have to choose. And I myself choose to upgrade the SR Freedom and also the Gundam Aerial, because they both help me in dealing nice damage. Okay, the best part about the Gundam aerial rebuild, from my experience, is that because the Suletta Mercury, the pilot for the aerial Gundam, is perfect for riding the Gundam aerial rebuild. Why? So here, if I talk about the new type pilot, like for example Camille, if it rides the Double Z Gundam that uses a range stats for its weapon, means that I cannot use his awakened stats, which is his best stats. So if it uses his range stats, it is of only 589. So compared to an SSR pilot like the Counterattack still deal higher damage. So yeah, not mentioning the ability, okay? Because Counterattack cannot pilot a Double Z Gundam. I mean, like, it doesn't get the bonus of the tech. But considering only the stats, the SSR, even the SSR have higher stats than UR pilot if you cannot use the awakened stats. But for the Suletta Mercury, this one has high range stats. So when I pilot the Gundam aerial rebuild, which uses the range stats, it can get full benefit out of the Suletta Mercury. And even though it is an attacker unit, I can use double support counter and support attack, and supporting my allies by dealing damage. So do not fix yourself on, attacker unit must be piloted by attacker pilot, the defender unit should be piloted by defender pilot. So for example, good pilots that can change their role is Suletta Mercury and the Mikazuki August. So Mikazuki August, if you have the UR unit, the Barbatos actually become a defender. But if you actually put Mikazuki August on Gundam Barbatos 6 form, it has a nice melee stats. Look at this, 612 melee stats, quite okay. So it can actually deal damage on the Barbatos 6 form. Yeah, even though it is a defender pilot, okay? So not as huge as an actual melee attacker pilot, but still, it is quite an okay pilot because it has a bonus tech on here, the Tekadan, increase damage dealt to enemies by 15%, and also this one increase all critical rate by 20%. This is rare, when piloting Barbatos, you can deal insane amount of critical damage. I mean, like, not the same amount, like you have a lot of chance to deal critical damage. Okay, so those two are the units that I think are worth upgrading with SP conversion, because for example, like this, if I already have Zeta Gundam, it doesn't make sense for me to upgrade the Double Z Gundam and use my Camille Bidan to ride the Double Z Gundam, okay? Because this is so much better, okay, compared to the Double Z Gundam. But even after I have the Gundam aerial in here, this is a support unit, okay? So if I want my Suletta Mercury to actually deal damage, I can pilot the Gundam aerial rebuild and I don't waste anything because it is of a different role unit, okay? So if it is both attacker, the Double Z Gundam and the Zeta Gundam, then why? But this one is a different role. So one is a debuffer, one is a damage dealer, and the same thing with Gundam Barbatos. Okay, Mikazuki August is a defender, but if I want to deal damage using my Barbatos, then I just ride the the Barbatos 6 form. What is it? This guy, yeah. I just use this guy and pilot it with Mikazuki August, okay? So that's why those are the options. Now, that's why the Gundam aerial rebuild is nice to have, really good unit. Now, this one is also really good, like Gundam Alfred is a defender unit that have this one, no, not this one. This one mobility down 20%, which means that it has a mobility down at level 5, but still, like, not as good as a takedown, but in stages that you can only use the the Witch from Mercury units, you have no choice but to use him as your defender, and it also has 5 movement, so it is okay. Like, only if you don't have any other choice, then you upgrade this guy, but you're gonna want to focus more on the Gundam aerial rebuild and also Gundam Alfred Thorn, because this is your option to inflict defense down level 5. at 2 to 4 range. Okay, so again, if you don't have any other choice, then this is gonna be your defense down debuffer, and then this is gonna be your attacker if you don't have any other choice. So among here, just focus on the Gundam aerial rebuild first, and then the Thorn, and then the Earth. Okay, so those are all the diagram of the old. Yeah, just like this one. Focus on this guy first, and then to this guy, and then to this guy. Yeah. So you shouldn't have any problem on the Expert Eternal Road on normal stages. You know, when we go to here, then the one that I think you're gonna have problem is this one, the X Gundam at normal difficulty, and then the double O at normal difficulty, because you don't have many options for your units. But just be patient, you know, just wait until you get a couple of limit break on those units, and then just clear it. Like, you don't need to level them up to 90. I think, yeah, I did clear this stage with only level 50 or 60 of those units. And then the Barbatos also, and then the aerial here. The problem will start when you go to the hard one. This one no problem, this one no problem, this one also no problem, this one no problem, this one no problem. You do have a lot of options. This is also no problem. The problem starts from here. The Wing Gundam series, like I said, you need the Wing Gundam at max, and then the Epion for your damage dealer, then the Altron, and you should be all right from there. But if you still have difficulty, you still have the Dead Side Hell, and then the Tolgis. As long as you can cover up your allies, then that's it. It's fine. Then the Seed series is gonna be a problem. Hence why you're gonna need a lot of the Freedom Meteor, and then the Justice Meteor. So you're gonna be eventually able to clear these stages, and then after that, yeah, that's it. Yeah, so the expert is where you actually need to maximize all of your units. But for the beginner, those units are enough. Now we're gonna go to the Gundam CCA first, okay? Now, this is the new information. So for those of you who skip all of the previous diagram, we're gonna start from here, okay? This is the starting the new one, okay? So from the new one, this is all new information. So in here, among the SSR units, the one that is worth upgrading is definitely this guy, the best one. Like, with all this time we are mentioning about the Psycho Gundam, this is an even better Psycho Gundam. This is a stronger one, because this has this one, the same as I Field Fin Funnel Burial. It reduces enemies attack with beam range weapons by 40%. But on top of that, like this guy, have this one, decrease special weapon power by 15%, a rare debuff that only him has at level 4, and also a special weapon power is mostly owned by UR units. Okay, so if you cannot reduce their damage using this, like this ability, like this is nullified by EX skill of the UR units, you can still reduce their damage using this. Okay, so that attack down debuff is still okay, like it's still good. So what is better than a Psycho Gundam is to have 2 Psycho Gundam, okay? But you cannot bring duplicate units in PvP. So if you have a Psycho Gundam, you can bring another Psycho in the form of the High New Gundam. So this is the best unit you can have from the Char's Counterattack development diagram. And also it has a lot of text in here. So really great unit to have, and really strong. Okay, now also it has a map attack. Look at this. The map attack reduces the enemy's mobility. There you go. So it is different, like it is another, like it complements so well on the Psycho Gundam. So it is a great unit. Like all the debuff that the Psycho Gundam doesn't have, it adds up by the High New Gundam in here. It mobility down 15%. So yeah, really great unit. Now the second one for you to prioritize on is the New Gundam. Okay, so I've seen a lot of players love the Nightingale. I too love the Nightingale, you know. But compared to the new Gundam, the Nightingale, even though it has a power 4,600 attack, it has a low short range, and also the requirement, the lower your remaining HP is, the greater weapon power increases. It is hard to lower your HP purposely to get the maximum benefit out of this. So yeah, even though it deals nice damage, but most of the time you will rely on this attack. You know, it uses awakened stats, a special damage. Here, raise 4, power 3,800, critical damage by 10%. But if you actually go to the new Gundam, look at this. It has a funnel attack at 5 range, power 4,300, awakened special 2, and the farther you are from the enemy, the greater weapon power increases. So in most cases, it is easier to maximize your damage using this, okay? And also, even though like the Nightingale essentially can probably deal more damage with the critical damage, but it rarely happens, okay? So this is a much more reliable attacker unit that you can upgrade from this series, from this development diagram. And it also has the fin funnel barrier, so it at least like give you a chance to survive, okay? Compared to the Nightingale, I think the Nightingale doesn't have. Look at this. The Nightingale have the attack up and then accuracy facing maximum. So yeah, like as an attacker, like the only two attacker in here, like this one is far easier and worth more than the Nightingale. Okay, so focus on the high new, and then the new Gundam first. And the Sazabi is not worth mentioning either. Like they butchered 2 of my favorite units by giving him both level 4 debuff. Look at this, damage taken from special weapons up 15%, you know, and also this one, defense down 15%. It's not a new debuff, and it also at level 4. So it's better to just use other units to debuff my enemies instead of using this guy. So yeah, and also the ability is so-so, because mobility, aggressivation, nothing really worth upgrading from him. I mean, like, only if you like the unit, and if you don't have any other choice, then use him. But there are a lot of other good options aside from him. Okay, now the Alpha Zero is also the same thing. Like, it has a very unique debuff. Look at this. Yeah, decrease special weapon power by 15%, just like the high new Gundam. Yeah, but the best one is this one, I think. Decrease beam weapon power by 15%. Yeah. This is very unique to the Alpha Zero, so it can reduce beam weapon power and also special weapon power. So that is his only advantage in here. But as a defender unit, like, you know, when the enemy attacks with beam weapons, reduce damage taken by 20%. Not as high as the fin funnel, but it is pros and cons. Like the fin funnel reduces beam range weapons, so it loses against a beam melee weapon. But I think in the CCA stages, there are not many a beam melee weapon attacker. Okay, so the fin funnel barrier will just work perfectly. Now this one only reduced by 20%, so in terms of survivability, the high new Gundam survive much better than the Alpha Zero. Also the tank, like the tank is much better with the high new Gundam, I think. Yeah. Yeah, because of EFSF, this one. Like EFSF have a lot of good pilots, okay? So that is really great. Like, considering like the EFSF, look at this. Like, this is a unit, this is an EFSF. So if I go to a pilot in here, this guy is EFSF, then this guy is EFSF. This guy, same thing, EFSF. This guy is EFSF. The best defender pilot you can have in this game. Because look at this. EFSF has a lot of units, of good UR units. Look at this. Good UR and SSR units. So you can just swap around between the EFSF pilots with their units. and you can have a different effect, like, you know, putting a support pilot on a defender unit, putting a defender pilot on an attacker unit, and then using an attacker unit on the defender on the support unit, blah 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 blah, and everything, you know. Like this one is EFSF. Look at this. There are a ton of EFSF pilot. Who else? I think is this. Oh, this one is Chiqua. Yeah, this is not EFSF. Yeah, there are a lot of EFSF pilot. I forgot who else. This one. Yeah, so that is the advantage of EFSF pilot. So going back again in here, the rest, the SR units, are not worth mentioning. They are all just you know, fodders for you to use. So only the SSR units are worth mentioning in here. Okay, now going to the ultimate unit, this is really great. We've already seen in the website just now, like previously only new Gundam have the special weapon power, special weapon damage taken up debuff at level 6. Now we have this unit, you know, another special weapon damage taken up debuffer, but it is only on the second attack, not on the third one. So same problem with the Aquarius, but at least the second attack have higher power. So if it is in range to go closer to the enemy, it will prioritize this attack. While the Aquarius have a higher power on the longer range, which has a lower level debuff, so it will never use the higher level debuff automatically, while this one still has a chance, okay, to use the highest level debuff that he has. Okay, so really great ultimate unit. Okay, again, full explanation will be on the top right corner. There's an eye icon, you can click there and find the video there. So this is the CCA. Now going into the Seed Destiny, in here we have 2-3 new you know, SSR units, and a lot of players are excited to have the Destiny Gundam. Like, this is great. Like, we have finally a really good Zeph defender unit. So before this we only rely on the Providence Gundam. Now we finally have the Destiny Gundam, but compared to the High New Gundam, like this one, not this one, this one have a decreased physical weapon power by 15%. The only unit that has this, but there are not many attacker that deals physical weapon. So again, in priority scale, it's lower. Like if not because of the tags, like the High New is much stronger, much better than this guy. It has an attack down here too at power 4500, but very short range, so that is his only advantage. Now this one, reduce enemies attack with physical weapons, reduce damage taken by 30%. So as not as high as the eye field, but then again it affects both the melee and the ranged physical weapons. But depending on the enemy, not many enemies use physical weapons. Okay, so yeah, situational. If the enemy use physical damage dealer, then you bring the Destiny Gundam. Aside from that, this is just a normal defender. Okay, 5 movement, really good. Terrain capability is also really good. But the best part about this guy is that from the new banner, we have a chance to get this Reza Burel. So the advantage of the Reza Burel, like, we rarely have units that have double support defense and double support attack. Okay, so mostly only UR pilots have them. Now in the SSR units, we have the Quattro with the double support attack. So most of the time, like the what is it? No, not this guy, not this guy. Most of the time, the SSR pilot only. Why do I keep clicking only the one with the double support attack? Like this guy. Most of the time, they only have one support attack, one chance step, or one support defense. Okay, the SSR pilots. Now, so there are very few and rarely an SSR pilot that can have double support attack or support defense. So that's why the units become really good when they have this pilot. So Quattro being able to ride the Wing Gundam Zero becomes really good. Hence why the Wing Gundam Zero is the best beam damage taken up debuffer, because you have Quattro, a double support attack pilot, when riding the Wing Gundam Zero. Now going into this guy here, Sujito, when riding the Red Gundam, have a double support attack. Okay, and then the Char Asnable have double support defense when riding the White Gundam. And then the two new pilots that we have from this banner is Luna Maria and Reza Burel. Both have double support attack and double support defense. Okay, so the Reza Burel can ride the Mobile Suit Gundam Seed Destiny tech, which include the Destiny Gundam. Look at that, see? So the Destiny Gundam become really good, because if you don't have UR pilots, you can use Reza Burel and have double support defense on the Destiny Gundam. Okay, that is the advantage of Destiny Gundam over the Hainu Gundam, because when you use the Hainu Gundam, you need to use Jonah Basta for its pilot to get the double support defense and also take advantage of the EFSF tech. Okay, riding this Hainu Gundam. Look at this. Yeah. So that's why that's the biggest advantage of the Destiny Gundam, being able to get double support defense from just an SSR pilot. Okay, so this one also, the Luna Maria, have a double support attack when riding Mobile Suit Gundam Seed Destiny. And the best one about this is that it can ride this one, of course, the Force Impulse. But again, if you get the Force Impulse, you will already have Shin Asuka, which is a better pilot on this one. But here, you have a lot of options. Look at this. Luna Maria can ride this guy here, the Gunner Zaku Warrior. But this is a gacha unit. We're not going to talk much about this. The Gunner Zaku Warrior, Luna Maria Hawk in here. And also the Destroy Gundam. So hence why in the Seed Destiny banner, aside from the Destiny Gundam that a lot of players actually hype on about, I prefer more on the Destroy Gundam actually. Okay, because the Destroy Gundam is insanely good. Like this one, I've already mentioned to you, it is very situational. It blocks physical damage dealer, which is not many attacker that deals physical damage out there. But this one have a special weapon damage taken up debuffer. And it also, its debuff is also on its highest range damage in here, and also power 4500. So this is a really good unit. I've already mentioned, like, there are not many debuffer of a special weapon damage taken up. We only have New Gundam, Beta Zero, and then the Qbeli Double Z. And now this guy. Okay, so this becomes insanely good, especially that you can use Luna Maria to ride this guy and get the double support attack. Okay, and this guy is also just like the Psycho Gundam. I mean, like, it is the Seed Destiny version of the Psycho Gundam if you go into its story. And it, when the enemy attacks with physical weapons, reduce damage taken by 30%, just like the Destiny Gundam. Okay, so this one, if being ridden by by the Reza Burel, this guy, you know, can actually have the double support defense. Look at this, it is there, you know. So look at this, when you are looking at here, the support defense one time is above the durability type. So that means that the one that requires durability type is only the text below it. So you don't get the bonus defense, but you still have the support defense one time. Now this one, because it is under this tag, so only on when you are riding this Seed Destiny Mobile Suit Gundam series, then you will have another support defense. Okay, so you need to ride these units here, that you will get the double support defense. Okay, and it increases awaken by 30%, which increase your your awaken damage, you know, while going in here. I think, let me see, It also deal awaken or not, probably not, I forgot. No, it's rates. Okay, so yeah, it is not as bad as we don't get all the benefit there because we are using a wrong pilot anyway. But still, like this is, I'm more excited about the Destroy Gundam compared to the Destiny Gundam. But still, they have their own uses. You know, like this is a defender, this is a support unit, and it has a really good debuff. This one is a defender for a physical damage. Now, this one is also insanely good, the Legend Gundam. Like, this one deal insane amount of damage. Look at this, power 4500, range 2 to 4, critical damage increased by 20%, and it uses awakened stats. So your UR pilot, who are new types, can ride this and deal high damage, and it is of a special weapon. So you can pair this up with the Destroy Gundam and deal insane amount of damage. Okay, so this is why the Legend Gundam is actually a really good unit for you to upgrade to max and actually use him, okay, from this series. So these are good. Okay, these all the SSR units in here are good. Now the rest of these units are not worth mentioning, except this guy here. I have special interest in this unit, Gelsky. I don't know what this is. Like, this is my first time. There's a Spider Gundam. What the hell? But look at this. I think this is the only unit in this game that have terrain capability on every single terrain. It is a spider. It is even a water spider. It can walk on water. Like, what the hell? This is a really unique unit, you know, like insanely unique. It can just move everywhere, you know. But the attack is so-so, it's not that good. But still, like, it is very interesting to have a unit that can be used in every single terrain, you know. Yeah. So I just want to mention this guy, you know, just very unique, very weird. But again, like, don't just develop this guy just because of that. Okay, I mean, not develop, don't SP convert this guy just because of that. Okay, it is still situational. So the rest is not worth mentioning. Like, I've already seen the rest. They don't have anything good to mention. Now this one is also weird. Also, like, it only stops as an SR unit, and even the SR unit is not that good. Okay, it is a strike rogue attacker version. Attack is 4200, critical damage by 10%, but still it is an SR unit. Like, if you do want to SP convert him, then he can deal quite high damage, but still we currently don't have any needs for him when you have a Freedom Gundam as your alternative, you know. Like, it is also a seed series, just like the Freedom Gundam. So it's better to just SP convert the Freedom Gundam rather than this one. Okay, so those are the two new development diagrams. So you've already seen all of them, you know. Like here, pros and cons: high new Gundam, worth upgrading. The rest sucks. Now this one from the Seed Destiny. Not that sucks, you know. I mean, like, because you have an Expert Eternal Road number 6 and you require Char's counterattack units only, so you need to upgrade all of them. You have no choice. It's gonna be really hard without UR units to clear that stage. If you don't upgrade all of this, you know, you need all of this, and especially if you need attacker, make a lot of new Gundams, because it is a PvE stage. Nothing stops you from building duplicate units. So if you need more attacker, just build more new Gundam. Like 3 new Gundams should be enough, and then 3 high new Gundam, and that's it. You have yourself a team, you know. So the debuffer you can just bring from the yeah, I think Sasabi. The debuffer unit a Sasabi as your debuffer. If you don't have any other debuffer, you know, but still, like, attacker defender is enough. Like, you have no choice. If you don't have UR units, this is an expert stage. Okay, you need all the help you can get without UR units to finish this. Now, the Seed Destiny, we only have a normal stage, so you can just prioritize the Char's counterattack stage first. I mean the development diagram first, then you can go here, okay? But if you, because currently Master League Season 2 is coming soon, so if you require the Destiny Gundam as your main defender, then yeah, build him up first to maximum limit break, and then after that you can go to the Char's counterattack to build the units from there and actually finish the Expert Eternal Road number 6 stage, okay? So yeah, this one, only 3 SSR units, but all 3 are good, okay? So that's it for this video, guys. So hopefully by now you have already get a general idea, like a big picture of which units to upgrade, which units to pursue, and why are they good, why are they bad, and which one do you want to upgrade first. Now, so hope you guys enjoy this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.